and how they also respond to the environment around them. It's not to be a son of Wavamuno that can make you be a successful person. It's not on what people have been saying, and I've been also part of that discussion, where they say here to survive, to get an economic livelihood, you must be known by those in power. But it's all about an enabling environment that provides equal opportunities for all. I believe when I will agree.
Yeah, sure.
So it is on that background, I believe that there is a need, among other sectors I mentioned, tourism, agriculture, industry, sports, natural resources, technology, innovation, and education, and security, which is not now a burden. There's a need to prioritize in education, in sports, and also education career development. The current curriculum development, as we agreed, it's not yet addressing these key areas. No. It doesn't feed into whether we are raising more professional tourists, professional agriculturists, professional industrialists, professional sports, those who can go into that career. Natural resource utilization, looking at our minerals. We are not looking at the curriculum that is dealing with how we can tap into these potential areas. Developed countries, as I do conclude my preamble, they have always, each country is tagged with what it does best. At least they normally look among the 5 or the 6, but with the prioritization of whether the first and the second. Uganda, it's high time we also know where we want to get our problems being solved better. Honorable, it's my insight too into this discussion. Currently, come on, and I mean, doctor, sorry.
It's also a blessing you just tap it.
Yes. I remember you one time, yes, there's
God
a context you come from, so please, they can also hear you. Also, honorable.
Yeah, sure. I must represent the people of Busuju before I die. Before I die, and before I die, I must be remembered not for being on talk shows, but I must be remembered as a person that contributed significantly.
This is a serious precedent for
education. For education.
Yes, you were saying something before we went for the break.
Well, when you talk about career development, I've heard you talking very fondly about career. But do you know what is career development? And who is supposed to support us in trying to establish our career path? Are they teachers? Are they our parents? Is it the government that is supposed to support us throughout our career path? What is education doing? What are the education policies have to do, or what do they say about career? But do you believe that there are some teachers whose intentions are actually to fail particular students? I am a teacher from Makerere University, bachelor's, master's, and PhD, studied pedagogy. But there are some teachers I got exposed to. And to this day, a few weeks ago, I was there. We had OB, we had a school day, and he's still bitter. He does not think that Kavera should leave. He looks at you, and you really see, when you see the messages he writes in different groups, he doesn't think that Kavera can have something significant. How did that come about? As a young boy, you're growing up. Those who study the psychology of human growth and development, the annual stage, there are stages where you reach and you are very stubborn, and there are stages where you reach and you are calmer, there is, trainings taking place. So we collided along the way, and he began classifying people in class. Today he comes to teach, he teaches those who are going to pass physics very well, which happens to be his subject. Very well, and he tells you, for you, Kavera, you even raise up the hand to answer questions like, you have nothing to say. Maybe I would be a very good medical doctor today if I was exposed to a teacher who is actually a teacher. Maybe I would be one of the best engineers in this country. I have been privileged to study. I went for school practices recently. Bombo SS, katika MSD, RIT College, Mulusa, where I was supervising students who are doing school practice, right? And I learned better physics when I was seated behind supervising students. I learned better chemistry when I was seated behind supervising students. I learned better mathematics when I was behind supervising than the mathematics and physics and chemistry I studied for 4 years.
1 second. Now, looking at that, what could be, you are a professional person in that area of education, apart from that teacher factor, what could be the major drive that steers up a person's career to develop into what you could?
Is it entirely a teacher issue?
Yes.
Exactly. You see, that's what I was saying, that career development has different segments or dimensions. It has got to be supported. When we are still young, your father and mother held your hands and took you somewhere. You remember when we were talking about sports, I said, and I quote, people, men and women, put their kids in their car and drive them to the playground. Right?
And they pay money.
They pay money because they have established, they have identified their children's interests. Right? So for us, our drive is either our teachers, our parents, or even the government support by establishing supportive, favorable structures for us to grow our careers and our skills. Now, you go through even those football players that we're talking about. I was listening to Messi.
You have talked about, our talk show is very much educative, and in this
I've talked about.
I'm getting you very well. You
talk about teachers, parents, and
government policy.
And government
Don't
policy.
we have also the fact of the peer group association? Because the groups associated with also they do determine.
Yeah, you can include it there, but here we are talking about human growth and development. Those peer group associations come along the way in life, because I met Honorable Odoi recently from a peer group, the colonies. I salute you, comrades colonies and Ocho Geladis. We met, and that's how I was able to meet him. So that is ahead in life when I'm already a doctor. But I'm talking about this child is growing. If we keep waiting for skills to be supported when you can still climb those mountains of Kotido, of Moroto, then we are missing a poem. That's why we shall have few Chemtegeis. But
so that brings out the aspect of personal initiative. You, the person. What are you doing? Before government comes, before your teacher, before the peer. Also identifying which group.
You come in, then I will come back to you.
Briefly, to add on doctors. You rightly said teachers, parents, government. Then the big question is you in person. Because we are all presented with same number of hours, 24 hours in a day. How would you package? How would you break down your day? What is your program? Before this talk show, what are you doing? After this talk show, what are you doing? Now, that is which group are you affiliated to? I met him, like he said recently. Never were we in any school together. But because we met in a certain group and we are pursuing the same direction, so we became tight. One might think we've been together for over maybe 20 years. So the direction, the choice of groups that you have shapes so much your destiny. Which people are you mingling with? What is your purpose in life is very key.
What is your purpose in life? Is
your purpose to become a medical doctor? What path are you pursuing? Are you pursuing the path to become that? Or you are just loitering and just praying that you will stumble and become a doctor? So purpose in life for me is very key. Purpose must determine, you must be able to determine the career path you want. Quite often, of course, with huge respect to our parents, most of our parents growing up, your father or mother will tell you, your parents will tell you, you must be a doctor. I want you to be a lawyer. I want you to be an engineer. The conversation must involve the student, must involve the teachers.
The conversation must involve.
Yes, the career path for a child growing up. This is a message to our parents, to other parents out there, fellow parents, that before you decide a career path for your son or daughter, take time and study the terrains of our society. What is the future now? The future is ICT. The future is now science. The future is now sports. The future is now performing arts. Gone are the days when, as long as you graduate with a law degree, there's a job for you. As long as you graduate with maybe as a teacher or a doctor or an engineer, then there's a better person. Now, person successful. So if your choice is in sport, you can pursue that professionally and become a coach, meaning you must study. You can become a medical doctor with a bias on sports. A physician. We need that. Gone are the days when you must study just medicine and surgery. We have a huge new sports industry that requires professionals who must go through education system and get certificates and get degrees and get doctorates like you people to spearhead this industry as coaches, as doctors, as fitness trainers, as health experts. We need engineers with specific knowledge, skill and experience to construct the turf. I can challenge if we have these training syllabuses in our universities today with specific training for engineers to become engineers who can now create a turf for athletes. This is where government should identify our best talents in engineering. Take them to maybe China, take them to developed countries so that you bring them back. We need specialized stadiums where our engineers have been trained, inducted, and have gained experience to construct a football stadium. Because different construction designs requires different skills, requires different training. I doubt if our general engineering students can construct an artificial turf needed for Cheptegei, needed for Omanyala, the fastest man in Africa from our neighborhood in Kenya, needed for Nakai. I've been training with some of these guys in Nambole.
My OG Nanyondo winning.
Nanyondo.
Yes.
And now that takes me back to the other conversation, that this country is generally talented. It's much more than the regions. Nanyondo, his OB,
my OG
is from here, is from Buganda. Nakai is from here. Masagala is from within. We have Obua, we have Dennis Onyango from my place there. We have Cheptegei from the other side. We have Obua, we have Arinaitwe, who was one of the best swimmers from the west. So we have talent spread across the country. The issue is we should focus the interest. Give them support, identify the auxiliary support staff needed in medics, in engineers, in coaches, in referees, and expose them. Because they will even be competitive. There was a time when one of our referees officiated at a World Cup match.
World Cup, yeah, I remember. Tom Sange.
Yes. How many Tom Sanges do we have? And that was not direct support by government. So we must be here very deliberate that the policies that we come up with, currently the laws we have, the sports laws in this country, are laws of like 40 years ago, of like 60 years ago. The world has changed. We need to move very fast. We need to address the interest of today. And that should be the conversation for me.
And I want to add on from what Honorable Odoi has just said.
Then you will come in after the commercial break.
Okay, yes. Well, Doctor, thank you so much. You've articulated the gist of
Very
what
well.
I wanted, what I wanted to really bring out. However, in the process of ascertaining all those beautiful discourses, those beautiful social constructs, which hands are our children, are our human beings, are our people going through?
Yeah.
A parent, a teacher, and the existing policy frameworks from a government.
Even the religious institutions.
The religious institutions.
We are fairly a very religious country.
You observe that we still have teachers who still believe that they are the authors of knowledge.
So we are going to go for the commercial break and we'll add on the details of that. Stay tuned on Smart 24 TV. Anyone who is very sincere with our talk show, you must acknowledge that this is a talk show you cannot fail to really pick up the best for yourself and for the country. And we promise you for the next session we'll be concluding it as we go through with our guests. I appreciate our guests much as we're not yet finished for the good work you're doing here. Thank you for being with us.